Matthew chapter number 20, verse number 28. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Peep this one more time. It says, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. I want to put a tag on this text and teach from this last installment of Business as Usual, from this title. Look at somebody and say, you got served. You got served. You may have your seats in the house. You got served. Family, I want to begin with a statement that will serve as a reminder to some and a notice to others. That this statement that I'm about to make is packed with power and potency biblically. It's not deep, but at the same time, it's not surface either. Here it is. Here it is. This statement that I'm about to make is a reminder for some and is a notice for others. And here it is. It is this: God has a plan for you. Okay? God has a plan for you. That short statement of significance is a declaration of destiny, that what you see is not all that will be seen, and what you've experienced is not your end. If God has a plan for me, stay with me, I'm going somewhere. If God has a plan for me, that means that God is preparing us with the necessary tools to accomplish the plan that he has for us. In other words, God will use our now to get us ready for our next. Thought I would get a better amen there. I said God would use our now to get us ready for our next. God has a plan for you. Oh, and God's plan is good. His Jeremiah 29:11 says he has plans for you, plans to prosper you and to give you hope and a future and an expected end. Look at somebody and say, God's plan. That's God. God's plan is a good plan. The beauty is that God never plans with only us in mind. Oh, that's worth writing down. God's plans never only include us. His plan is inclusive, not exclusive. His plan is inclusive of others. Yes, God has wired us for our work. Yes, God has crafted us for our call. Yes, God has designed us for his duty on the earth. And regardless, Lord, this is good to me. Regardless of who you are or where you're from, his plan for you and I will include more than you and I. His plan, he has a plan for us. He has a plan for you. And watch this. It's not, here we go, don't leave the church. God's plan is not for us to be celebrities or superstars. Okay, all right. His plan is not simply for us to be superstars. His plan is not simply for us to be celebrities, but his plan is for us to serve. Yes. This is the most unpopular message you're going to hear all week. His plan is not for us just to be superstars or celebrities or mere influencers. His plan is for us to serve. We are made, oh God, in his image and after his likeness. That's not just about physicality. That's about mentality and spirituality. That means we model the model of the master. Oh God, his image and his likeness, this is so good. We are made in his image and his likeness. That's not just physical attributes. That's a servant's attitude. God's plan for us is seen in the life of Jesus. That Jesus' life is a life of service. So then, stay with me. So then serving is a lifestyle and not just language. So then serving others is intentionally putting ourselves in front of others. It's intentionally making sure that God is above all. It is the fight for the first. Okay. The fight for the first. What's the fight for the first? Because we all have competing things vying for first place in our lives. Tell the truth. We all have competing things vying for the throne of our hearts. There's always something looking to take the place of where God is supposed to be. This is extremely important. We live in a me-first society. And God is asking for us to put him first. And one of the ways in which we put God first is how we put others first. Okay, so we live in a me-first society, but God is asking for us to put him first. But then one of the ways in which we tell whether God tells whether or not we're putting him first is how we put other people first. He says, the great commandment, we've been talking about it for 16,000 weeks. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. He says, these two commandments are one. You don't get to slice and dice the commandment. This is what he said. He said, you don't get to say, I'm good with Jesus, I'm done with everybody else. Somebody just said, I feel seen. I was just... We want to live and understand that Christ is the model of what it means to serve. So then, if I understand that Christ is the model of what it means to serve, and Christ's life exemplifies servitude, and I want to be like Christ, then that must mean that I must not see service as an obligation, but I see it as an opportunity. So I don't say I got to serve. Touch somebody and say, I get to serve. In other words, serving is a privilege. Serving others is a privilege. Let me say that one more time. Serving others is a privilege. And God is looking for a few people that will prioritize his people and push, watch this, his agenda. Push his platform, his policy. As a matter of fact, I get to serve. This is so good. This is so good. Because Jesus exemplifies service. You need Bible. I didn't give you Bible yet. I'm sorry. Let's get to the Bible because my words don't mean anything. But by the time of our text in Matthew chapter number 20, we see something that's extremely important. Jesus, for the third time, Jesus is announcing the news that he's going to Jerusalem. A little bit of context so that you can respect the content. He is getting ready to suffer at the hands of religious leaders, church folk, and some Gentile authorities. He will, watch this, be crucified and then later rise from that death. The cross is awaiting the king. So for the first time, Jesus talked about the cross. Peter jumped up and rebuked him. No, don't say that, Jesus. Peter said, don't say that. And then Jesus looked at Peter and said, get thee behind me, Satan. Because Peter meant well, but he was trying to talk Jesus out of his own assignment. Be careful who's in your corner. Because they just might be operating off limited information. They mean well with their intel. But there's just some things about your call that they don't know. Let me get back to the context. So here it is. That's the first time. The first time Peter jumps up. And here we see Jesus getting ready to give them some information that will revolutionize their lives and ours. So as we tiptoe into our text, we see from the outset, I see a few things in Matthew chapter number 20. The first thing that I see in the text, write this down if you were writing down, is I see a mother's request. I see a mother's request, a mother's request. Watch what it says. Matthew chapter number 20, verse number 21 says, then the mother of the Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons, and kneeling down, she asked Jesus for a favor. Jesus, can you do me a favor? Verse number 21. Jesus answered, what is it that you want? She asked. She said, grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at the right and at the other left in your kingdom. Watch what she's asking. She says, do me a favor, Jesus. Grant me that one of my sons would be with you when you enter into your kingdom, and let one sit on the left and let one sit on the right. Okay, all right. This is so interesting. She's not wrong for making that request. She's asking God to do something on behalf of somebody she loves, but she doesn't know that you don't get what you don't get to ask God what to do and how to do it. Right. Okay. She's asking God for something, then she's telling God where she wants to, how in which she wants to do it. So she has to understand, not y'all, she does, that you don't ask God for what to do and then tell him how to do it. Because if he obeys you, then you're God. So she's not wrong for her request. As a matter of fact, Jesus never rebuked her for the request, for her inquiry, I should say. Instead, he just informs her of her ignorance. Watch this. This is so good. The Bible is rich, y'all. So her request was for her sons. If I had time, I don't have time. But if I did, I would deal with the fact that the two grown men were right there, and they had their mama speaking up for them. I don't have time, but if I did, I would tell you, be careful when a man can't speak up and express his own desires, his own wants, his own emotion. Y'all quiet in here. So, let me get back to the text there. So his mama came. Go tell her, Mom. His mama came. His mama came, and her request is for her sons to sit at the right and then on the left side of the father. What she don't know is, she don't know what it takes to be able to do that. She has, remember, Jesus never rebuked her for her request. She has a righteous request with it, and Jesus gives her a ratchet response. Watch what. She has a righteous request, but then there's a ratchet reply. Have you ever had a righteous request and felt like, God, you give me an answer I didn't ask you for? Let me make it plain. Have you ever prayed to God asking him to do something for you, and instead it feels like he does the exact opposite of what you just prayed for? That's a ratchet reply. That's not what I asked you. Righteous request. God, could you give me more patience? That's a righteous request. So then you look around, and everybody around you is getting on your nerves. You're like, God, I didn't ask you for that. I asked you for the patience. God, could you give me a heart like yours? I want a heart that forgives. I don't want to be easily offended. And we think that God is going to take us through offense 101, 202, 303, 404. God says, no, since you asked for a heart that forgives, I got to let your heart be broken. Righteous request. Ratchet reply. God, you giving me something I ain't asked for. All right. God, I want you to use me like never before. This is my season to take what you've placed on the inside of me, and I want to go from potential to production. God says, you do know that purpose is going to cause you to go through some pain. He said, you know, in order to birth something, that there has to be some discomfort. In order for you to push out into the earth what God has impregnated you with, it ain't coming easy. Oh. He says, use me like never before. I want you to expand, enlarge my territory. We be praying. I want you to enlarge my territories like the prayer of Jabez. I'm like, I don't know about that Jabez prayer. He's like, increase me indeed, bless me indeed. But you do know that there's something else that comes with that. He says, God is saying, you want them to sit on my left and on my right? You want them to be famous. God said, I don't need you to be famous. I need you to be fruitful. God is like, we're praying things like, God, help me with this temptation. And we think temptation is just going to go away. Don't look at anybody. Don't even reply to this, what I'm getting ready to say, because I want the guilty to remain. Don't even worry about it. Just anonymous. Thank you. Just look right at me. Don't even blink. I'm a TV. You ever pray for God to take something away that it seemed like he turned the volume up on? That's right. Don't say nothing. That's good. That's the best response all day. That's it. And you like, God, I don't know why. And you like, God, this thing ain't going nowhere. It's not just lust after individuals or that. It's lust after position and influence and status. Did you know that you can lust after somebody else's influence? Her request, while he does not rebuke her, what she's asking is for her sons to be raised up to the place to where everybody else is under them. She's asking for a level of influence that she's not aware of might come with a level of turbulence. Okay, that's the mother's request. I'm going to get something, and it's going to mess you up. The first thing I see is the mother's request. The second thing that I see in the text is the master's reply, verse number 22. He says, watch what Jesus says to her. She says, Father, I want my son to sit on your left and on your right. Verse number 22, he says this. You don't even know what you're asking. That was the ghetto version. He says, you don't know what you are asking. He says, you don't know what you're asking. Just pause right there, because you're asking for the blessing, but you don't understand that there's a backside to every blessing. You're praying for the blessing, but you don't know that there's a backside to it. You're praying for promotion, but you didn't know with more promotion becomes more pressure. That's the front side. Promotion is the front side. Pressure is the backside. You're saying, God, I need more increase financially. I need some more money. Amen. And God is saying, okay, but with more money comes more responsibility. I want more influence. God is saying the front side is a prayer for more influence. The back side is more expectation. The front side is more economic acumen. I no longer have a poverty mindset. I came from nothing, and now I'm somewhere at least. And God says that's a righteous request. But did you know that there's a backside to that? Because the backside of you making it out of what other people that's around you with your last name did not make it out of, the backside to that is entitlement. Survivor's remorse. So now, a savior complex. So now I got to deal with everybody coming to me for, who are you going to go to if I wasn't here? Who are you going to call? It's quiet. Jesus said to her, you don't know what you're asking. You have no idea that there's a side of purpose that's painful. You have no idea. Watch this. Watch what he says. He says, not only do you not know what you're asking, then he asks her another rhetorical question. He asks them, can you drink of this cup that I'm going to drink? I hope this ain't too much Bible for y'all, but he says, can you drink of this cup You're asking me for something and you don't have all the information. He says, are you willing? Here we go. We're talking about service. Here we go. Are you willing to suffer before you reign? Or are you asking me to skip the suffering and propel you or accelerate you to the reigning? Because she never came and prayed about suffering. She came and prayed about reigning, status, significance, success. And God is like, do you know that you will have to drink of the same cup in order to sit where I sit? You want to sit where I sit, but you don't want to do what I'm going to have to do. Okay, when I encounter people and they're like, you know, I want to be in ministry. I'm like, I love that. I want to lead. I want to pastor. I'm like, you sure? Do you want to pastor or do you want to preach? Because those are two different things. Because sometimes when we hear that, when we say that, what we're saying is, I want to preach in front of people. I'm like, because if you just wanted to preach, you can preach every day at work. It's street corners everywhere. Just don't force us to hear you. You can go anywhere. Hello. All right. Hemmed us up. Now we stuck here listening to you. Elmer Fudd sermon. He says, can you drink of this cup? Can you endure what comes with what you're asking for? I want to be an entrepreneur. Cool. But can you work harder for longer hours, for less money? Because some of us, I'm in trouble. Some of us, we need to stop lying. Thank you, D. We have to stop lying to ourselves. Because we really don't want to be an entrepreneur. We have an issue with authority. We don't like to submit. We don't like people telling us what to do. But you don't have the work ethic to do it on your own. Because you wake up when you want to. You go to sleep when you want to. You quit when you want to. Quiet! I'm just going to start my business because I don't got to put up with this. No, you need to go back to work. There's nothing wrong with God honoring labor. We let the culture tell us, oh, it's time for you to start your, and do. No, everybody can't start businesses. Somebody need to work. We got to stop not telling ourselves the whole truth. You need a structure. Because the cup of an entrepreneur is too bitter for you. Because you don't know what you're going to make next week. Or the next month. And you're going to have more bills at the end of your month in the beginning than you have money. What is that going to do to your emotional state? And is you being an entrepreneur going to force your entire family to put up with the agitation you put on yourself? And now they're horrible. They're upset because they got to live with a person that's not satisfied with the things that they should have never walked. Man, it's... Can you drink of this cup? Oh, you like this cup because it looked nice on the outside. It looked good, but do you know what's inside of it? It's bitter. I'm not even going to deal with. This is the master's reply. He asks a question. Can you disciples? He moves from speaking to the mother and starts dealing with the men. Can you, Lord, thank you, Holy Spirit, can you drink of this cup? Yeah. You know, everything in life has a cup. You want to be single? There's a cup. You want to be married? Because some of us have made an idol out of marriage. And you don't understand. You might be ready for the front side. But are you ready for the backside? Oh yeah. You want Instagram, TikTok marriage. You want 15-second story marriage. Somebody said Dubai. You want a Dubai marriage. But what do you do when the cup of marriage is bitter? And y'all are not getting along. And you just don't like them. I love you, but I don't like you. It's quiet. What do you do when you can't let go of what they did, but you want to, but you can't? Because when you see them, all you see is not their face, but what they did. But you're still married. Can you drink of that cup? Can you humble yourself and go get therapy when it's needed? Or are you too prideful? I don't want nobody in my business. Well, go ahead with your bitter cup. Will you work on yourself, or will you just point out the other person's flaws? Because that's inside the cup. Because you have a cup, watch this, and they have one too. And just like you're in their cup, they're in yours. Let me get back to the text. You look, hold on, what the devil? The devil is a liar. What's going on over here? She's talking about, not our cup. That's right, babe. Your cup's sweet. You got a Kool-Aid cup, babe. You got a red Kool-Aid cup, babe. We good. The master's reply. Can you drink of this cup? Do you know what you're asking me? This is Jesus giving them intel on what's about to happen to him. I'm getting ready to get beaten. Getting ready to be humiliated. Getting ready to be spat on. Getting ready to carry a cross all the way up Golgotha's hill. I'm getting ready for people for miles and miles and miles to hear about this supposed king of the Jews. You want that? I showed you the mother's request. I showed you the master's reply. I want to give you the mentee's response. Watch this. This is Jesus' mentees. This is what they said in response to what Jesus just asked. Can you drink of this cup? Jesus said, verse number 22. Watch what he says. They say, we can. They say, we can. They mean well. Jesus said, all right, you can? Well, guess what? You sure will. In other words, I'll get to this in a moment, but Jesus allows them to have what they just said they can handle. Because if I were to fast forward, I would tell you that James is the first apostle that was martyred. And then John lived the longest, and he was the last. Boiled in oil, but still survived. So now that you have that piece of information in the future, let's go back to this conversation. Jesus says, can you drink of this cup? They say, yeah, we can. Absolutely. I mean, what is it? Just a little persecution. That's all it could be. I mean, what are they going to do? Just tell me they don't like me and, for being a believer, and I can deal with it. Jesus, that's the mentee's reply. Here's what Jesus says. Indeed, you will. But you're not sitting on my left and at my right. Watch what Jesus is doing. Jesus honors their request, but he only honored the part he wanted to honor. He says, okay, you can or you will, but watch this. I'm not answering that whole prayer. I'm only answering a part of your request. And watch this, is not the part you like. Because what they really wanted to know is, can they sit on the left and on the right? Jesus says, no, but you can suffer for me. Hey, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, hey, hold on, back. Hold on, that's not what I was, the left and the right. That's the left and the right is the part, the left and the right. The left and the right. Jesus says, I'm going to answer your request, but I'm not going to answer the part you want me to. I'm going to answer the part that I want to. Now, the question becomes, will you serve even though I'm not obligated to do what you think I should do? Or is your service predicated on me obeying you? He says, okay, James and John, will you serve me even though I don't answer the request in the way you want me to? No, you're not going to be on my right and left. That's reserved. And Jesus says, I don't even get to decide that. The Father does that. He's like, no. I don't get to decide that. That belongs to those who have been prepared by my Father. That's the Father's choice. So watch this. Can you drink of this cup? We can. Your cup is going to cost you something. Your cup will cost you. The cup of serving will cost you convenience. The cup of serving will cost you convenience. And the cup of serving others will cost you convenience. God, the cup of serving others will cost you convenience. Did you know that the cup of serving others will cost you convenience? You don't just do what you want to do when you want to do it when you're serving others. You exist to serve others. All right, I'm almost done. Lord have mercy. What? Okay, Lord, Matthew 20:24 says this. When the 10 heard about this, because they heard in, they're like, whoa, what are they asking? Watch what he says. They were indignant with the other two brothers. Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles, I'm going somewhere. Lord, this is good. You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Watch this. Jesus interjected into the conversation. Here's what he's saying. In essence, he knows that they're asking him to be great. They're asking them, can you make me like you? That's what they're asking for. That's what the mother is asking for. Watch this. Okay, yes, all right. So he says, watch this, verse number 26. He says, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. Watch this. Whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. So he starts talking about, verse number 24, he starts talking about how the world, the culture sees service. They domineer over you. They exercise authority over you. It is you do what I tell you to do and that's it. All right? And Jesus says, this is how I see service. The greatest among you is going to be the servant. See, you're trying to be great by elevating to a certain position, my left or my right. But you don't understand that your elevation is not an indication of your servitude. He says, if you really want to go high, learn how to get low. If serving is beneath you, leadership is beyond you. Lord have mercy. I said, if serving is beneath you, leadership is beyond you. I know you can sing, but put down the mic and pick up a mop. I know you can prophesy, but do you know how to sweep? Amen. It's quiet. All right. Can you move from consumers to contributors? Because serving doesn't come without a cup. What's in this serving cup? Real quick, I got to give you this. Three things real quick. Selflessness, that's caring for others. Sacrifice, that's killing convenience. And submission, that's committing to Christ's commands. That's what's in the cup. Now that's bitter. Because none of that has anything to do with me. Now that means I exist to be used by God to serve other people. Verse number 28, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus reminds them of his assignment. And he says, I want to show you what my assignment is, because I want you to know what yours is. I didn't come to be served, but I came to serve. And to give my life up as a ransom for many. In other words, watch this. He's reminding them of why it is that he came. I came to inconvenience myself on your behalf. Jesus is like, I was in heaven chilling. Me coming does not benefit me. Me serving you does not benefit me. It benefits you, disciples. Then he says, to give my life as a ransom for many. Why is this important? He's showing, you know who's included in that many? The people he was talking to. He says, I came to give my life up for you, and you asking about being elevated next to me. He says, okay, so then the question must be asked, why should I serve? According to Matthew 20:28, Jesus is telling them, you should serve other people because, watch this, you got served. I came and died for you. You got served. I gave my life up for you. You got served when you were sick. I healed you. You got served when you was broke. I provided. You got served when you was losing your mind. I gave you peace. You got served. Provision came from the north and the south. You didn't know where the check was coming from. You got served. So why is it that it's hard to get you to do what I've done for you? He says, you should serve because you got served. Now, if you didn't get served, it's cool. It should be difficult to get you to volunteer at church if you never got served. That's cool. That's cool. It should be very difficult because you've never experienced that, and I understand that. But if you got served, if somebody encouraged you, if somebody held your hand and walked through life with you, if somebody ever took your baby, gave them a hug while they were at school and helped them out and gave them a Band-Aid, then it should be easy to get you to find somebody's child, help them out, give them a hug and give them a Band-Aid, fresh kids. If somebody ever greeted you and made you feel good about it, like, man, okay, this is pretty dope, all right. It should be easy to get you, hey, do me a favor, just go do what somebody did for you that helped you. If somebody ever spoke a word of encouragement to you, it was like, man, I needed that. It should be easy to get you to be the first person that person sees when they walk through the door, and you can say to them, man, today's gonna be crazy today. God about to do something amazing. Why? Because you got served. I didn't come, Jesus says, I didn't come to be served, but to serve. Would you stand to your feet? Put your hands together if you guys experience something. As we conclude this business as usual piece, it is extremely important to understand this is business as usual. According to Jesus, service is proof of salvation. I need you to hear me. According to Jesus, service is proof of salvation. It is because I'm saved, I serve. I look for needs and I pitch in. Watch this, not even conveniently, as he did inconveniently. eye closed, every head bowed, I want to pray over you. And while your eyes are closed and while your heads are bowed, I want you to think about the areas of your life that you got served in. I want you to think about the areas of your life where you got served in. Think about the times in which, just even growing up, when somebody came alongside you and maybe encouraged you, maybe hugged you, maybe walked you through, maybe answered the phone for you, maybe put some money in your pocket, maybe wrote you a check, maybe somebody did something for your babies and for your kids. With those things on our mind, considering the fact that we got served, I want you to make a vow, as you can hear my voice over this system. I want you to make a vow that there will never be a day in your life where you are only a consumer, and that you will always move between